Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. Today, we're going to be talking about the Space Cybersecurity Digital Badge Program here at the Kelly School of Business. I'm Scott Shackelford. I'm a professor here at Kelly, where I also have the honor of serving in several other roles that I'll say more about in just a moment. And I'm joined today by Eitan Tepper. Would you?
Hello, I'm Eitan Tepper. I'm a director of the Space Governance Lab at Indiana University.
Mhm. And together, we have facilitated this program. So we'll talk a little bit about the program itself, fill in some of the blank spaces around who we are and what got us interested in these topics, and then give you more information about the program from there. Excellent. Can we advance the slide, Eitan? There we go. Excellent. Thank you so much. So space governance is a really interesting and quickly developing field, and there's a lot going on in it. So I'm not going to attempt to do justice to all facets right now, but I wanted to give just a really brief once-over of how we got to this point. Space governance has been an interest of mine now for more than 20 years. I got interested way back when I was an undergrad here at IU, when the NASA vision for space exploration was being developed after the Columbia Space Shuttle disaster. At the Ostrom Workshop, which has been around now for more than 50 years, and I'll say more about that in just a moment, space governance is a newer interest, but in a lot of ways, there's parallels with other aspects of our work on the commons, including the global commons, thinking about the atmosphere, the deep seabed, Antarctica climate, cybersecurity, and now, of course, space as well. We launched the Space Governance Lab. Again, lots of bad puns throughout this, so with apologies, with support from the Carnegie Corporation a number of years ago now in 2022. And we thank Carnegie for their support to make that happen with a number of pioneering projects tracking the growth of different institutions related to space governance, mapping out some of the major epicenters, some of those norm entrepreneurs, and trying to establish some best practices for governance of this new and final frontier. That has led to a variety of publications, as you can see there, including a brand new project that we're doing with the U.S. Air Force Office of Scientific Research on an integrated theory of space cyber power. This is going to be ultimately leading to a book that our hope is going to be published. It looking quite good so far with Cambridge University Press a little over a year and a half from now. And it'll be the first book to really weave together these fields of space, cybersecurity, and frankly, grand strategy, since national security is at the forefront for how we're thinking about the development of this frontier and frankly the role of the private sector within it, since oftentimes that infrastructure is in the crosshairs of foreign nation states. Anything else you'd like to say about that so far, Eitan? Is that okay?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Excellent. Okay, great. Just a little bit more about kind of why we're here and what we do. So one of the hats that I currently wear is I'm the executive director of the Ostrom Workshop here at IU. It's been around for more than 50 years now and has been an epicenter of governance research for that time. Lynn Ostrom, the first woman to win the Nobel Prize in Economics back in 2009, is famous for her work on how we can do a better job of managing global collective action challenges, really from the ground up. She began her work focused primarily on local common pool resources, things like fisheries and forests, and found, among other things, ways in which these communities can come together and self-organize to address their challenges without the need to necessarily privatize a resource or have Big Brother in the form of the state, stepping in to nationalize it. Doesn't always work. Certain conditions have to be met, but we're applying some of those insights along with the bigger literature on what's called polycentric governance. So that's broadly how you get different levels of authority to work well together on a common topic to this new field of space. Though we have a lot of other tech governance work going on, including in cybersecurity and internet governance, as well as managing misinformation, disinformation, disinformation, AI governance more broadly. So if you're interested in getting more involved in the Ostrom Workshop, we encourage you to join our space governance working group or other working groups that might be of interest by going to ostromworkshop.indiana or just sending Eitan or I a note after you view this recording. I'm also the director of IU's Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research. This is a center that's been around for more than 20 years now and is focused on the issue of securing critical infrastructure. And like the workshop, it does that in a very interdisciplinary fashion where we bring together researchers and practitioners and staff from a variety of disciplines and try to find novel ways for dealing with some of the most vexing challenges that we're all facing. That's applied in the research infrastructure context with a big National Science Foundation program called Trusted CI. But we also do a lot of work really from the ground up, helping local governments with their cybersecurity challenges, such as a project what's called CyberTrack with Purdue and the Indiana Office of Technology. And we're working a lot right now as well with the Department of Defense and the Army Cyber Institute on the issue of securing smart cities and how we can do a better job of securing vulnerable critical infrastructure on the civilian side, especially when it's being fed into defense networks. So we have a monthly speaker series and lots of ways to get involved with CACR.
Yeah, maybe I can say a couple of notes
Please, yeah.
about space and cybersecurity. So generally, by now, we are very much reliant on a space-based infrastructure, and the reliance is both from the military aspects and from civilian aspects. There are satellites communications that provide us all sorts of services, notably communication, positioning, navigation, timing, etc. The military is very much reliant on the satellites for intelligence, for navigation, but also for the many guided weapon systems. Our economy is dependent on the satellites that are used by the banking, all the payment systems, and also each one of us personally are using satellites every day when we are navigating to the cinema, or even when every time that we are paying with a credit card. So the result is that space-based infrastructure is now a critical infrastructure for us. And to the scenarios of a day without space, and you can Google that, are not so good. The economy can come to a standstill. The military will be crippled. There is a quotation here about how the Marines are addicted to their space-based systems. So if it is critical systems for us, it also means that it is a prime target for our adversaries. Now, there are two main ways to disrupt or even destroy our satellites. One is a kinetic attack. It's basically to launch an anti-satellite missile and blow up the satellite. So far, we have seen 4 countries that successfully test anti-satellite missiles: US, Russia, China, and India. Each time they demonstrated you launch a missile from Earth, it completely obliterates the satellite. But this method is problematic. There is a high technological and financial barrier. This is why only the very few leading powers can do that. It also exposes the attacker and escalates the hostilities. Another option to disrupt the adversary's satellite is by a cyber attack. And it is so much more efficient in many ways. It is an asymmetric weapon, low technological and financial barrier, which means that it is the weapon of the weak and the poor, not just, but also of the weak and the poor. So you don't need to be a superpower in order to do that. It causes maximum damage with minimal cost, and you can also cover your track and deny culpability, and it is less escalatory. And the best example of that is that Russia, on the eve of its invasion to Ukraine, launched a cyber attack to disrupt the services of the Viasat, which
Hmm.
is an American commercial space company that provided services to Ukraine government and military. Russia could have done it by an anti-satellite missile. They have the capability, but they chose a cyber attack. They didn't take responsibility for the attack, and the US didn't respond directly. This just demonstrates the advantages of a cyber attack, and that this is going to be the main mode of a space warfare. Uh, More generally, we can say that a combined space cyber warfare theater is emerging to become the primary battlefield in the 21st century and the main mode of a space warfare.
Hmm.
Um, so why why choose the field of a space cyber security? So as we mentioned before, space-based infrastructure is now critical. It is vulnerable to cyber attack, and which already happened. Um, and as a result of this attack, all the companies are by now aware of the risk, but they are lacking skilled personnel to address it. Moreover, there are not even a training program to train personnel for this field, and this is why IU launched this pioneering program um, about the space cyber security. Scott, do you want to take it from here?
Oh, sure. No, happy to. So, I mean, this is a quickly developing field with just a tremendous amount of opportunity. And as Eitan was saying, very, very few skilled folks who are able to navigate at that intersection of cybersecurity and space, situational awareness. So because of that lack of, frankly, talent, that is making it quite challenging for firms to, both fill existing roles and to think more strategically about, frankly, the opportunities and the costs of functioning in this domain, as well as, frankly, in the M&A context, right? So geopolitically, this is also a challenging moment. There's a lot going on, which means there's a lot of adversaries, both nation states, as well as cybercrime and terrorist organizations that are interested in targeting these assets, as Eitan mentioned as well.
Yeah, and we can see that now there is already a market for a space cybersecurity firms and
Mhm.
expert. The market is relatively new, which means that possibly there is more demand than the supply. Uh, and the figures that you see here are probably bigger now.
Mhm.
So the program leads are Scott and myself. We already introduced ourselves, but we can also say a few words about guest lecturers.
Mhm.
Our aim is to bring to the participants the best knowledge and also to expose them to perspective of all the sectors from the government, from the military, commercial companies, and also non-profit. So we brought together an excellent team that includes Scott Nelson from the U.S. Cyber Command, Michael Campanelli, who is the lead on a space
Hmm.
cybersecurity with Amazon. We have Nick Saunders, which is the chief cybersecurity officer at Viasat, the same company that I mentioned before, who was attacked by Russia. We also have Aaron Miller, the executive director of the space ISAC, which is a key organization that connects all the actors in the government, in the private sector, and in the defense establishment. We have also Brandon Bailey, which is one of the nation's best experts on a space cybersecurity. He is doing it for many years, and he is really a go-to person on anything in this topic.
Hmm.
We have also Henry Danielson, who is on the one hand a professor at Cal Poly, but he also leads the aerospace village at DEF CON, for those of you who know DEF CON. And also Professor Falco from Cornell University.
Hmm.
Um, Scott?
Hmm. Absolutely. So we've had three cohorts of this program so far, and thanks especially to Microsoft for helping us get this off the ground with some seed funding, which has also allowed us to offer scholarships to students not only here at IU to participate, but also at other community colleges. Since then, we've been honored to receive additional support from the National Science Foundation, and then most recently, as we said, the U.S. Air Force. The program itself, builds from the expertise of not only Eitan and myself, but these amazing cadre of industry guest speakers who can really dig into the front lines, cutting edge issues of space cybersecurity, and frankly, bring war stories to bear, because in a lot of cases, they've had to deal with them, whether it's Viasat or you name it. The mix we try to strike, as you see up there, is not too dominant in one field or another. Certainly, law, policy, discussions of governance kind of pervade a lot of these topics because they're quite thorny, especially right now, given how fractured things are geopolitically. But also, we really try to frame that out by advertising and really trying to dig into some of the advances we've seen on the technical side of the ledger. And that, of course, includes some work on space cybersecurity specific standards and frameworks that we highlight throughout the course, too. It's online. We meet once a week synchronously. And from there, we have tried to, build out this program with these other institutions in mind. So it's a very dynamic process. There's going to be new topics such as in supply chain security happening all the time. Successful adherence to this program, we make it all the way through to the end, are able then to earn a badge, which they can add into a certificate program, such as the certificate in cybersecurity management here at Kelly, and then ultimately the master's degree as well in cybersecurity risk management. We do provide students with an opportunity either to show what they have learned through completion of a quiz or an aerospace themed cyber attack post-mortem, where you can dig into an actual breach at an aerospace organization, public or private sector, and in particular focus on, what happened, how the organization respond, what could they have done better, and what were the lasting results of regulation or litigation or other actions in the aftermath of that. And as I mentioned, you see the results. You get a digital badge that you can put on LinkedIn and otherwise earn academic credit toward our certificate. And if you're interested, the full MS in cybersecurity, and have access to a number of internship opportunities, including with the organizations that we partner with in this offering. What did I miss, Aitan?
Um, I think we can share with them. You already mentioned that the parts there are parts about law policy and compliance, and there is the more technical part or the parts about cybersecurity risk management. And maybe it is worth sharing one of the testimonials from Mahesa from the Space Force.
Hmm. Hmm.
But generally, I think we covered it,
Hmm.
it all.
Absolutely. And we've
So,
been really, really appreciative of that partnership with the U.S. Space Force. Has had a number of those folks come through now as well. So as you see, please do, get in touch with any questions that you might have as you consider whether to sign up for this program. We're happy to field them, and we hope you join us in the next cohort,
so see you in the next cohort or in outer space.
whichever comes first. Thank you. It would be fun to do this from outer space. I completely agree.
Yeah.